All right, everybody. Unhappy Friday. Coming to you live from the 215 to the 513. This is Green Legion Radio's Unhappy and the MP, sponsored by Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club, located at 2740 South Front Street in Philadelphia. Call 215-467-1980 for all of your group and party information. We'll get to a little bit more of that sponsorship here in a minute. Just trying to change up the intro a little bit. Instead of just my normal jargon, we got to make sure we're including everyone here. Let's get you off mute. Forgot to do that, like an idiot. Lou Mancini says hi. Frozen solid here, and I'm spent. Short night for me. Yeah, join the club, brother. It has been a fucked up week with the. We were off on Monday because of the blizzard out here. Yeah, just so you guys know, I know up in the Northeast there, and I grew up in Connecticut, so nor'easters and stuff. I know what that means. 3 feet, 3.5 feet. 12 to 16 inches out here in Southwest Ohio is a massive, massive problem. They just don't have enough equipment to really handle that sort of thing. I thought they did a great job overall, considering it, but it is a huge problem here. So our facility was closed on Monday, which now forces us to work on Saturday because we are in an incredibly busy time of year right now. So I'm not happy about it. It ain't going to be a long night for me either. We're going to do our thing here. I'm going to get my Red Dead Redemption online challenges done, and then I am hitting the rack. Yes, I am going on 47 years old, but I will always be a gamer. My video game budget for this year is basically titled Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
It's pretty much where we're at with it. I've only been 13 years for the next installment. Who else jumps in here? David Loeb says, happy Friday. Keenan Harmon, Louis, we're living in the tundra. Yeah. So not only do we have the absolute brutal snow, none of it is melting because a heat wave now is apparently 20 degrees. Whereas most mornings it's been negative. My car sounds like shit in the morning. I got to get that looked at now. Look, each passing year as I get older, the closer I am to getting the fuck out of anywhere where it snows. Once these kids are grown and gone, if I can make it work somewhere in Arizona or Tampa, I am out. I've had it. I don't like the weather. I don't like the snow. There is not a chance I'm ever moving back to Connecticut or anywhere up in the Northeast. Don't get me wrong. You can't replace the food. You can't replace your friends. You can't replace your family. But Jesus Christ, I am sick and tired of snow. I am sick and tired of cold. My old ass bones can't take it anymore. I'm about at it. But who else jumps in here? We got Russ Taylor in the room. What's up, bitches? My nipples can cut some glass as well. Yeah. We're all in the same boat here. Dad Fritz, happy Friday, y'all. It's shot o'clock. I wish I was on your schedule, but we've been dried out for the last few weeks and probably staying that way until the Super Bowl. And not to mention, I smoke. So when I drink, I smoke a lot, and we don't smoke in the house, and it's 5 degrees or 10 below outside, and I ain't trying to be out there. I'm just not. So I'm perfectly happy doing my thing and then having some sleepy time tea and going to bed. Mason, how you handling the cold and the snow here, brother? It's been a shit show out here.
Yeah, it was tough. I think at the very end of the storm, I went out there with a tape measure, and I measured 8 inches, which was a lot lower than what Apple was forecasted, but 8 inches is the most snow I've ever seen in my life. And so that was definitely something. But yeah, now. Yeah.
Where do you live?
It's South Jersey.
That can't possibly be the most snow you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It just can't. You're in your 20s, dude. There's been bigger storms come through there. Or were you just not allowed to go fuck around in
it? Maybe. I don't remember ever seeing more than 5 or 6.
Wow.
So dude. 8 inches is the most I've ever seen.
Yeah, we need to get your dad on here. I'm sure he's got better stories.
They grew up in the 80s and the 90s. They'll tell you they grew up in Vietnam. But anyway,
Very
But
good.
it was crazy because it snowed, and usually when it snows, you get a little bit of heat and it washes it all away. It's been colder every single day following the storm than it was on the day of the storm. So
Agreed.
it fell and it's not going anywhere, but it's getting
No.
harder. So like when I go out there and I
Giggity.
break through the snow, there's like an inch or like an inch or two layer of hardened, reinforced snow, and then all the soft snow underneath it. Like my dog can literally walk on the snow, and it's like almost a week after the storm has hit, and it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's been a disaster here. So we got here in Fairfield, Ohio, we got 16 inches of snow. That
Ooh,
is the most snow that I have ever seen out here. That's the most snow I have seen since I moved away from Connecticut back in 2006.
okay.
So I mean that for out here, 16 inches is a lot of snow. And just in case you guys are wondering, no, I didn't go out there with a tape measure. No, these aren't guy inches versus chick inches. Okay. This is what was reported on the news, and I believe it because when I went out Sunday morning at 7 o'clock, now don't forget, Mason, my weather's anywhere from 12 to 24 hours ahead of yours, depending on how
Okay.
fast or slow the storm is moving. When I went out Sunday morning, after I walked the dog at about 10:15, 10:30 Saturday night, and there was a dusting out there, and it wasn't snowing. And that was what they expected. It wasn't going to start until sometime after midnight.
Right.
So I came in, went to bed, got up 7 o'clock in the morning, went out to my driveway, and there was 10 inches of snow on my car. That's a fucking shitload of snow to fall in that short amount of period of time. And it still came down like a sumbitch pretty much all day on Sunday
Yeah.
until about 5, 6 o'clock. Then it finally tapered off. So, but it dropped another good 6, 7 inches. It might have been more than 16. Russ Taylor reports, I didn't have a ruler, but my dick said it was a foot. So I'm good. So Russ, is this guy inches or chick inches here? There's a difference, fellas. Lou Mancini, my wife's family's from Ocean City, New Jersey. Back in the late 80s, they got 2 feet. So growing up in Connecticut, there are 2 storms that I remember above all others. They both happened in the 90s. Snowstorms. They called it Storm of the Century, and it was like 92, 93.
Yeah.
And they
That's
shut
what my
down the
parents talk
state,
about.
and there was like 30 inches of snow. Then there was the blizzard of 96. And that one, Milford, Connecticut, which is where I went to high school, where I lived when I was a teenager, we got 3 feet of snow. That one. I mean, the cool part was the state would just shut down, right? So it was just like, dude, in big storms, man, you'd see the adults would grab a sled and walk up to the package store, which is where we get our alcohol in Connecticut. They call them package stores, call them go into the packy. And they'd put the beer in the sled and drag it back to the house. But yeah, those were the 2 worst ones I can remember. But yeah, it's been an unpleasant week with the weather, with the cold. I know everybody's sick of it. The kids with school, they were off Monday, Tuesday. They had 2-hour delays Wednesday, Thursday. They had a 2-hour delay today. And then early this morning, they canceled it altogether due to transportation issues. Because none of this is melted, and mind you, there has been beaming sunshine every day.
Yes.
But it's 8 degrees. Beaming sunshine and nothing's melted. Most of your secondary roads, like my side street in the neighborhood, you can still only get down one portion of it. It's not like all clear. So, and it doesn't look like, I think we're going to get a heat wave up to about 30 next Wednesday. And then they're calling for like another inch or 2 of snow that night. I'm like, dude, like we can't really handle more of this right now. I lived in Nashville for 3 years, and I still got some friends down there. And you know, they were without power for 4 days during this cold snap, 4 or 5 days. Their grocery stores were cleared out. Now, I'm telling you, a foot to 16 inches here in Southwest Ohio is a problem. Middle Tennessee with a foot of snow. I mean, power's out. You got to call in the National Guard. It's
You have to see.
it's the apocalypse, right? But yeah, so it's been a shitty week with all of that.
I will
But
say though that the snow that fell around here initially, like the day of, was very soft snow. So
yes, it was
in
light.
of itself, it wasn't heavy, so it was shovelable.
No.
My dad actually could take a leaf blower and they blow off the stairs for our dogs, so that was good. But
Yeah.
ever since, like I said, it's been like single digits or in the teens over here, and it's like every day is like another inch beneath it gets like reinforced and hardened.
Yeah.
I've never seen it like this before.
Yeah, this has been nuts. It's been the cold snap that's really done you in. The snow was bad enough, but it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
We need a couple of days around 40 degrees to melt this shit. And but then you worry about the other side. You know, if all of a sudden it spikes to 45 degrees and you get rain, now you have localized flooding, and people's basements become in jeopardy and all of that kind of shit. So double-edged sword, but I would certainly like to see some of this start melting and going away because I can't fucking stand it. And
You
cold,
and me both.
forget it. That level of cold, like I'm aching all the time. I don't.
Dude, we have like a home gym in our garage. It's not insulated, and dude, I dread going out there. I dread going out there. It's so
it's too fucking cold. It's way too cold. Keenan, snow was fun once upon a time. At 68, it is frightening.
Yeah.
I am on your side, brother. Snowmageddon from Russ. What else? Yeah, here we go. Waking up and seeing the temp in single digits. Yeah, it's disrespectful type of cold, right? It like hurts your feelings. Like this.
Dude, the wind chill's like negative.
Yeah, I go out in the morning. The temperature in my car says -4 in my car. Like I don't need to live where this is the thing. I can't stand it. But all right, that's enough about the depressing part of this week. However, while we've been stuck inside for the most part and hiding from the cold and the snow, it's not like it's been a week devoid of content here.
No.
And before we get to the birds, there's another elephant in the room, and that is the first ballot snub of one Bill Belichick. Now, look, I am not here telling anyone to feel sorry for Bill Belichick. I certainly don't. However, this guy is second all-time in wins when you include the playoffs. He's third all-time when it's just regular season. He's got the most playoff wins in the history of the sport. Granted, there's more rounds, I get it, but it's still 31 fucking playoff wins. He is a 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach. He's also a 2-time Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. If there was a resume for a coach to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't know what else you're looking for. Now, look, Spygate, Deflategate, all of these things. I get it. Belichick always towed the line, right? Even where it wasn't breaking the rule, he was always right at that line or in that gray area, just begging you to hate him, right? And he was always kind of surly with the media. He was kind of a douche behind the microphone. He'd lose. You could tell he was throwing a little bit of a fit. It wasn't a good look. But second all time in wins, had 8 Super Bowl rings, dude. How the fuck is he not a first ballot Hall of Famer? I'm sorry, but the foot stomping by Bill Polian, who then has the nerve to retract it, right? Like the limp-wristed 83-year-old shitbag he is.
Yeah.
And then you get this other idiot who wants to say, well, I'm speaking from anonymity. Another thing I cannot stand is, an anonymous source. Look, dude, if you're going to say something, put your fucking name on it. Grow a set and put your name on it, right? Like, come on. Dude, the petty of this, because they hated him when he was still a head coach in the NFL. This feels like the Baseball Writers Association of America, not making Jim Rice wait forever because he was a dick to them in the media. That's what this feels like. This is usually a baseball thing, not a football thing, because the process by which these guys have to go through to even be considered for the Football Hall of Fame is so stringent that once they get to that point, someone with this type of resume, come on, dude. This feels very Baseball Writers Association of America.
Yeah, so when it comes to the whole Bill Belichick thing, I initially, when I read it, I had an inkling. I knew immediately what it was. We all know if anybody's first ballot Hall of Famer, it's two people. It's Bill Belichick and it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady will get right in. There's no question about that. And Bill Belichick should have gotten in. I don't feel bad for Bill Belichick as much because this is a guy who's won 6 rings. It's more than that, actually. His 6 rings as just a head coach. It's 8 total. He's Bill Belichick. I feel I'm more upset by the fact of how it represents the Hall of Fame rather than any individual implications on Bill as a person or coach or whatnot. The Hall of Fame is supposed to be a sacred institution. It's supposed to be an institution reserved to respect and revere the titans of the game, the icons that made the sport, the people who grew the league from its inception to today.
The transcendent people.
Right. And we all, even though there's a singular Hall of Fame, there's multiple Hall of Fames. All right, there's a Hall of Fame of the first ballots, and then there's everyone else who made the Hall of Fame. Those who make the Hall of Fame on the first ballot is a uniquely important and vital and crucial individual to the history of the sport. Bill Belichick is that. No matter if you hate the Patriots, if you hated him with the Giants, he molded Lawrence Taylor. He had Tom Brady. He had Gronkowski. He had all Ty Law, Willie McGinnis. He had them all. Vince Wilfork. He built these guys. Edelman. Vrabel, who's already a Super Bowl head coach already. Yeah, Josh McDaniels, who he's not successful on his own, but he's a very successful offensive coordinator. So if there's anyone who gets in, it's Bill Belichick, but this proves just how sheer pettiness of the old wigs who are in these voting committees and how strongly they hold grudges. And it's very worrisome to me to see these old guys going into these committees voting meetings and place their individual pettiness over the meaning of the Hall of Fame. You can't put your personal things aside and then, seriously. And so
thank you, Russ.
It's insulting not to Bill. Like I said, I don't feel bad for Bill Belichick because he'll get in next year. Okay. He has all the rings you're ever going to need. He has all the accolades. He has records. I don't feel bad for Bill. Okay.
No,
especially considering what he gets to go home to.
Yeah, you can't.
Especially considering what he gets to go home to every night. I don't feel bad for Bill Belichick.
What is she your age? Like, it's kind of disgusting when you think about it.
I heard someone say that Bill Belichick had to wait 49 years for his wife to get born. He could wait another year to get a Hall of Fame.
Oh damn! Oh damn! I'm using that right now. Continue.
I feel bad for the meaning and for the respect that this implies onto the Hall of Fame. The fact that you now have to be friends, you have to get along with the voter. Like, it shouldn't have to be like that. It unfortunately is. And we all kind of have an inkling that it is, but to see it like this, manifest like this, especially if Robert Kraft gets in. And
there's a good point.
Robert Kraft is very good friends with,
and he's a despicable human being.
He's also really
despicable human being.
He's very close friends with one Bill Polian, and Bill Polian went out to bat for Kraft, kind of lobbying for his voting into the Hall of Fame this year, while he reportedly or is rumored to have negatively lobbied Bill out. Now, because Bill Belichick was so successful with the Patriots, it didn't take much to lobby all these old cats to not vote for Bill Belichick because they all probably hate his guts. But if Robert Kraft gets in over Bill Belichick, that it's a unique disrespect to Bill Belichick, but it is a slap to the face to the Hall of Fame. It is a slap to the face of those who are already in the Hall to kind of be like, well, I guess I'm lucky that I just didn't step on too many toes. Yeah, everybody's gotten the bad for Bill Belichick after this, and like I said, I don't feel bad for Bill, not one in the slightest. But man, I really feel disrespected as a fan for what this has done to. I feel really bad for what this has done to the institution and what it means to Hall of Fame. The fact that the voters are going to put their individual pettiness over what it means to be a first ballot Hall of Fame.
100% agreed. That's it is. It's ridiculously petty, and I get the Spygate and Deflategate. I can understand people, having a problem with Bill. Here's my thing with the Kraft thing, which I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to go with that as well. Robert Kraft, for people who don't remember, got picked up at a massage parlor.
I think it's the same place that Sean went.
It was later linked to human trafficking. Now, he was never implicated in any human trafficking, but let's be fucking honest here. These were rich old white dudes that were picked up at this place. And then sometime later, they come back and they find out that that particular spot was linked to human trafficking. Like, who are the people that are usually behind human trafficking? Rich old people, right? Like, I think Robert Kraft is a despicable human being for that. You can say what you want about Bill Belichick, Spygate, Deflategate, the fact that he was constantly towing the line, oftentimes looked at as a cheater and all of that shit. But the only thing off the field that anyone might have a problem with is the fact that he's dating someone that's his granddaughter's age, right? Like, and I personally don't have a problem with it. Like, good for you, Bill. Rock on, bro. Like, I don't like Bill Belichick. That's mostly due to my disdain for the Patriots and that 20-year reign of terror with Belichick and Brady. I can also make the point that outside of his years with Brady, Bill Belichick as a head coach has nothing to speak of. His coaching record as a head coach without Tom Brady is atrocious, including his time in New England. So
I will say he did go to the playoffs his first year with Mac Jones, though. So I will give him that.
What were they?
He also went to the playoffs with Matt Castle.
No, they did not go to the playoffs. They went 11-5 and did not.
11-5 and they missed it. Yeah, that's right. My bad.
But yeah, I mean, if you just take it, I mean, what I've asked this question before. What is Belichick without Brady? Now, look, dude, he still should have been a first ballot Hall of Fame coach. Give me a break.
Oh yeah,
there's no question about it. But if you were looking for a boner of the week, point your finger right at the 11 or more people that refused to vote for him.
I'd just point at Bill Polian.
I mean, him first,
Bill Polian.
But it's not just him, right? There's 50 voters. You have to get 40 of the votes to get in, which means that at least 11 people, did not vote for him on that 50-person panel, and all of them should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Every last one of them. Yeah, and if they can prove any kind of collusion behind that, take their voting rights away.
No, yeah.
Take their voting rights.
Dude, the Hall of Fame put a thing out. It was like, just as a reminder, if any members are found to they are subject to penalties. Like, that's a very coincidental time to be reminding us of that.
Like, for shame, the Hall of Fame shouldn't have to put that out there.
No,
it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And again, I am not sitting here telling anyone to feel bad for Bill or poor Bill didn't make it, blah, blah, blah. It's about what's right. And
I feel bad for the
right now,
Charlie,
he is the best coach in the history of the league. Right now. And if that guy's not first ballot Hall of Fame, then who the fuck is?
Yeah.
I just find it ridiculous.
What's the name of the guy who goes to tell the individual players that they made it? His name's Charlie something Baker, right? What's his name?
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah.
I feel bad for him
because
I think he actually runs the thing. I think he's the president of the Hall of Fame. If there's anybody who you should feel bad for, it's him, because his whole career, his whole life's work is to venerate the Hall of Fame, is to revere the Hall of Fame. And this is a spit in the face of that.
Dude, 8 Super Bowl titles, including an NFL record 6 as the head coach of the New England Patriots, plus the 2 is the DC and with the Giants.
Yep.
333 career wins if you include the playoffs, which finishes second most by a head coach behind only Don Shula. 31 playoff wins, most by a head coach in NFL history. And this guy's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's absolutely insanity. Again, It feels like the Baseball Writers Association of America. It does. That's what it feels like, and it's bullshit. Football and the voters and the Hall of Fame should hold themselves to a higher standard than that.
Way more.
It's disappointing to see something like this happen. It just is.
No, and I sound a broken record, so I'm not going to be on it too much, but yeah, 100%. And it'll be interesting to see if they do the same thing with Tom. I'd imagine you can make a case for Bill Belichick.
Right there.
Yeah, right.
That's the fucking answer right there. Nail on the head, Russ. It would be really funny if all of the Halls of Fame made these voters do the votes publicly. Thank you. Can't hide behind anonymity then, you chicken shit.
Yeah.
I just find it nuts. I think it's crazy. And I agree with that statement from Russ. I find it crazy, and I hate that they can hide behind the anonymity.
Well, I do understand that you want to try like insulate the guys from potential outside influence. So I kind of get it from that perspective.
But everyone knows who has a vote.
Yeah,
everyone knows who has a vote.
Yeah.
They just don't know how they voted. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So the outside influence can happen anyways, which we're seeing now with Polian, who is rallying people to not vote for freaking Bill, and then comes back and tries to deny it that he's saying that he did vote for him.
I think he should be the if there is one, it should be Bill Polian, because he, I think, is the one who spearheaded the whole thing, because Bill Polian was, of course, the general manager of the Colts when the Colts were trying to get past the Patriots into the AFC Championship game.
I couldn't do it.
I think it was 03 or 04. The Patriots got a little grabby one AFC conference game, which spurred the beginning of the modern NFL defensive pass interference rules, because the Colts really complained about it. And so, for a lot of these guys who were in the AFC during the 2000s and in the 2010s, sort of whole 20-year reign of terror, these guys hate Bill Belichick, because for a lot of he took from them what they wanted the most.
Hate him all you want. I am not telling you not to hate him. I can't fucking stand him. But if I had a vote, it wouldn't even be a question. I can hate him all I want. The numbers are the numbers, dude. At some point, the overwhelming amount of success, you have to at least respect that enough to be like, you know what, I can't stand this guy, but let's just check the box, let him get in, moving on. Now I don't ever have to deal with him again, right?
Yeah. Now you have to vote for him again. A couple of years ago, one thing on that, when this was actually made public, this information, when Peyton Manning was on the ballot for his first time, of course, Peyton Manning is the first ballot Hall of Famer. Do you know how long the voters deliberated on Peyton Manning as a candidate before they voted on him?
30 seconds?
I think it was 13, literally, officially. I think it was officially 13 seconds. They deliberated, and then they voted.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you look at the Hall of Fame process, right, for the NFL specifically, and you look at how they start with the list and then work it down to the finalists, it is a ridiculously rigorous
If you think about how the amount of people who are eligible, and then you get down to like the 5 or 6 that actually go in.
So I enjoy what they do, because they're taking the time to make sure that those finalists are literally the best of the best that they can put on a ballot that year, right? Like baseball, it's just kind of this wide open thing where, you know, there's this is who's eligible, and you got to get 70% of the vote, and you know, and these guys didn't get it. You know, football, it's this huge list that then gets reduced down over time. And I think, did we find out this weekend, or is it like next Thursday or something?
I think it's next Thursday. It's usually like the day before the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah. I think that's next week. But But I always look forward to that shit too. So, and we can talk about that next
You
week,
get to
but-
see these guys who played they played the sport their entire lives. If they're coached, they've been around the game since, for decades, and they get to put on the gold jacket for the first time. I mean, that is a dream for these guys. And the videos I love seeing the most are when they're told that they've made it. When the Baker dude goes to their homes, or they go to a place that is like special to them, and he goes, on behalf of the Hall of Fame, you've done so much for the sport. We'd like to do a small gesture of a thank you. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. And it's just like their whole lives just flash in one moment. And I love seeing it. I love seeing it.
I think it's fantastic the way the NFL does it. And it's just a shame that now you have this negative light on it because a bunch of petty old pricks. But that's enough about Belichick for now. We can get to more of that next week. You can talk about this shit forever. Hell, we've been on it for 20 minutes here. But hey, we've been asking for it. We finally got it. We got an offensive coordinator. Got an offensive coordinator. Just yesterday on my way home I was literally driving home listening to Fox Sports on my way home, and the news broke while I was driving home that we had hired Sean Mannion as our offensive coordinator. Now, you can look at this one or two ways just right out of the box. There is the negative side, which is we fired Patullo immediately, right?
Yep.
So, it was some 36 hours after the loss to San Francisco. Patullo gets fired. That's a pretty quick hook. Get him out. And then there's all the bravado talk after that about how we were going after a high profile, some guy we can just turn the offense over to. And so, we're going to, he's going to operate autonomous. This is his end of the things. And so immediately names like Mike McDaniel, Brian Daboll, all of these names are who you're thinking. I was an advocate for Mike McDaniel, mostly because of the creativity with the run game and the fact that you guys have heard me bitch about it all year, that I think we should be a 2-to-1 run to pass team at minimum. His creativity in the run game with the misdirection, with the motion in the offense, zone blocking scheme, basically everything that was lacking this past year. Where does he go? Well, he goes to Los Angeles, wants to wear capris all fucking year. Fine. Now, my one knock on McDaniel was I didn't think if things went south, he was not going to be able to handle the pressure in Philadelphia. I think all of us would agree on that. Brian Daboll, not a whole lot of motion in his offense, and I think that's something that we desperately need. However, he does have a history with Saquon, and he does have a history with Jalen. So, kind of felt okay there too, right? He brings, a kind of older, more veteran coach type of presence at 50 years old. Can be more of an adult in the room, kind of like a Fangio would be, to where you have Nick, who still needs a fucking bodyguard on the sideline. But ultimately, Daboll's not the guy either. So then we're interviewing Jim Bob Cooter. You and I had a great laugh about that last week. And then it was like the next day after we told last week, there was a lot of steam picking up about Cooter becoming our OC. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is going to happen. Bobby Slowick's name gets tossed around. We're interviewing all kinds of guys, and you finally settle on Sean Mannion. Not the overwhelming slam dunk that we were kind of told was what they were looking for out of the gates, right? You want to look at some positives here? Well, he was an active NFL quarterback just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means he's still kind of up to date on the league's current tendencies on both sides of the ball. The fact that he was a quarterback, coupled with the just stepping off the field a couple of years ago, should help him identify. He's only 33 years old. Should help him create a connection with Jalen Hurts for situational play calling, what makes Jalen comfortable, things like that. The other portion, 33 years old, wasn't really on anybody's head coaching radar yet. So even with some decent success this year, there's still a chance that we might have this guy for 2 years rather than the constant revolving door. There's also the chance that our offense explodes again and he goes running off to go coach fucking Arizona or some shit. But the everything you read, the Packers were very high on him. He's respected. He apparently did a great job with Jordan Love. I mean, I can throw some numbers out there. He was the quarterback coach last year, the full-time quarterback coach. And Jordan Love experienced uptick in, completion percentage by a little over 3 points. It's his highest completion percentage since he became the full-time starter. Okay?
Yep.
His interception percentage is the lowest in his 3 years as a starter. This is last season. Highest success percentage at 50.2. Highest quarterback rating as a full-time starter by 5 points, by 4.5. 101.2 last year. His QBR, which I know is a big fan favorite stat. He had that. Jordan Love had that big statistical year in 2023. His QBR last year was 10 points higher than he did in 2023. All right. This is all while Mannion is his quarterback's coach. Now, obviously, LaFleur and an offensive coordinator have a lot to do with that too. But this is the guy who's working with Jordan Love specifically, day to day, quarterback coach. This is his job. I do think there's things to be, I don't know if I want to go say excited, but I do think there's things to be optimistic about and positive about here, rather than only looking at this as we struck out on all these other guys and nobody wants to coach Jalen. Nobody wants to deal with Nick. The Philadelphia sports media once again rears its ugly head over the last week and a half with all their, negative.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching fucking CNN. It's just constant negativity. One final thing, and then Mason, you're there in the 215, brother. So I definitely want to hear not only your opinion, but what you're hearing around you. The hitch routes, and I saw this last night and I sent it to Quimby. Last year, we ran hitch routes 673 times. That was first in the league.
Yes, I saw this stat, yeah.
The Packers ran 354. That was 31st in the league. So I would call that, as the meme says, progress. Now, I've given my spiel. Mason, you're there. You're there in South Jersey. You're there in the Philly area. What is your opinion on the hiring, and what are you hearing around you from locals?
So I'll start with the locals part. I can speak for my dad and for the other people I've kind of like picked about regarding this. A lot of people were meh about the hire, to be completely honest with you, because no one really knew who the hell Sean Mannion was. Now, luckily for me, I'd actually I'm not sure if I've ever shared this before, but growing up, like going through high school, I actually wanted to be an NFL scout. And so I really pride myself with really knowing about, the NFL, the scouting process, and getting to know the kind of fringe guys who people may not know a lot of. And so when I actually saw that we hired Sean Mannion, I was like, wait a minute, that name's really familiar. Like I recognize that name. And it's because he was actually drafted the same year as Carson was as a 3rd round pick. And like you said, he only stopped playing.
And there it is, folks. The weekly tie-in to Carson Wentz, brought to you by Mason. We can't just get through a week without hearing the name Carson fucking Wentz.
It's going to be a weekly Easter egg. It's going to be a challenge. But how can I seriously connect anything to Carson Wentz? Nonetheless, there's this growing trend in the NFL, which I actually really, really like. And I think one of the things that Howie is good at is getting catching on a trend a little bit before they really start to really catch fire across the league. And it is young guys who have played the game. And so you see a lot of these guys who are former players who are under 40 getting kind of fast tracked through the league. And it's because of, I think partly because of what you mentioned a little bit before, they were in the trenches. They were on the battlefield going against these defenses. And it's not too long after they're out of that they are really valuable in terms of, okay, so you've actually played this before. You saw it from a player's perspective. Now you can actually translate this into a coaching lens and take it that step further. I really, really like that type of style, that dynamic, that trend going on in the league. And this is exactly what Sean Mannion brings. I do think that there's a really big caveat to Sean Mannion that makes him really not appealing as offensive coordinator. But I'd imagine that you're going to bring this up anyway later on. So I'm just going to nip in the bud here. Sean Mannion has absolutely zero play calling experience. So as soon as he was hired, it was announced that Nick Sirianni was going to be, holding the play calling duties. And I think all of the 215 made a big collective
vomit.
But just today, I think we hired Josh Grizzard from Tampa Bay to be our specific pass game coordinator. Now, I'm not sure if that means that he is going to be getting to play calling duties. I surely hope it does. To my knowledge, Josh is actually a little bit more experienced than Sean Mannion in terms of offensive kind of coaching and hopefully play calling as well. So I don't really know how that's going to shake up, but I'm really excited about that addition as well.
From what I read, it's going to be Mannion calling the plays.
Mannion's calling the plays?
Yeah, it doesn't look like Nick's going to be doing that, which I'm a fan of. Nick sucks at it. We've seen what that looks like. I don't need to see that again.
Well, that would explain why.
In this case, I'd rather know what the devil you don't know.
Yeah. Well, that would explain as to why they brought on Josh. Hopefully, they kind of help each other out there. This will be the first time I've ever really seen a seemingly almost like a co-coordinator. Because when it comes to defense, it's Vic's show all the way, and no one kind of questions that. But on offense, it kind of seems like it's going to be an offense by committee. So we're going to have Josh putting his 2 cents in. We're going to have Sean putting his 2 cents in. And, of course, Nick Sirianni has to put his stamp.
See, and that's the part I don't agree with that. Like, you hired Mannion. It needs to be his fucking show. Nick is so much better when he's just kind of the CEO of the team and not diving too far in. I need Nick out of that. All right. Now I get it. Sean Mannion's not called plays before. A lot of guys haven't called plays before until they do. Right. So this is the next step in his evolution. So let's give him the reins. Let's let him. I want him doing it. I don't want to see Nick Sirianni doing it. We've seen what that looks like, and it doesn't look good. We need a fresh face, a fresh mind, and hopefully an offensive coordinator that will devise a scheme around the skill set of the personnel that he has, rather than trying to force these guys into some shitball program like Fuckface did last year.
When it comes to the whole play calling thing, now that I kind of speak this out loud, I think that his experience, his history as a former player is actually going to help him tremendously in that department, because he was a quarterback. He was a quarterback for 7 years. Okay. Like I said, he got drafted in 2016 and he was last active in 2023. So when you play quarterback in the NFL for 7 years, you've most likely played under a couple different offenses and seen a couple different systems, especially going through high school and college and all that. Yeah. So he was Sean Mannion, so he was a backup quarterback. He probably was a journeyman. He probably knows intimately well what works in certain situations and what doesn't work in other situations. Like I said, I think his youth in terms of being close to the age of Jalen, I hope really helps him out in terms of that kind of connection there. I think when you were bringing up his time in Green Bay, I'm surprised you didn't bring up how much of growth Malik Willis saw under Mannion and LaFleur, contrasting to his days in Tennessee. When Malik Willis took over the reins after Love got hurt for a little bit, Willis had a career performance.
You can go there, but I'm more interested in what he does with the starting quarterback. The bottom line is, if we end up having to have Mannion coach up our backup, we're already fucked.
No, but
I need him connecting with Jalen.
No, yeah. 110%. The one thing I will say to that, though, is I would be much more worried if the Mannion effect only was seen on Love and didn't happen on Willis. Because then I'd ask, okay, well, why didn't it translate over is, does that mean that Willis is just a bad quarterback? But no, he was actually able to elevate not only Jordan Love, but he was also able to elevate a talent like Malik Willis. So,
Yeah, and Willis is a great
Love and
athlete.
Willis has they have a lot of different kind of playing tools. So this kind of goes to show that Mannion can also kind of transcend a lot of different types of quarterback styles, which I'm greatly excited for, because Jalen Hurts is definitely a quarterback that has certain limitations. And so if Mannion
like every
can,
quarterback does.
yeah, and if
There's not a
Mannion can
quarterback
help,
in the league that doesn't have limitations. It's not specific.
That's true.
Jalen has his. Everyone has him. I'm sick and tired of this goddamn Philadelphia media ripping Jalen Hurts. Well, he's limited. Okay, where? In the middle of the field and some arm strength? Yeah, this isn't news, folks. Every quarterback has limitations. Lamar Jackson is not an accurate thrower. You know what he gets away with? Because they use his legs, it opens up bigger holes in the middle of the defense. He just throws the ball in there. That's why Lamar looks better as a passer. When he can't run anymore, he may as well hang him up, because he ain't going to look good throwing in tight windows either. Josh Allen, he gets erratic. Justin Herbert can't play in a big spot. Every single quarterback in this league that people think is on that elite level has some sort of weakness or deficiency or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm tired of this vitriol towards Jalen Hurts over his thing. Make a fucking offense that fits your quarterback. This is what you're paid to do. Could I go do it? No. It's my job to sit here and rip you for not doing it. I couldn't do it, but I don't get paid to do that. If I was getting professionally paid to do it, you're goddamn right I'd be able to, or I'd go find something else to do. These guys with these excuses about Jalen's limitations or Nick Sirianni's this or that, or, Patullo got his house egged. Motherfucker, that's Philadelphia. What did you think was going to happen? You're lucky it wasn't rocks or M80s. Or, come on, dude. I can't stand it. It drives me batshit.
But nonetheless, Sean Mannion, we've seen improvements over different types of quarterbacks, and so that kind of gives me a little bit of excitement and hope that he can really, hopefully, continue to develop Jalen into his areas of weaknesses, continue to strengthen his strengths, and any other quarterback that's of course there, Tanner McKee. You're only as strong as your backup quarterback. So we'll hopefully
in that case, most teams in the league are pretty fucking weak.
Yeah. But yeah, it's true. But you're also talking about the same team that paid Chase Daniel $10 million to sit on the bench. So
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. I also asked the room to give their opinions. Right? I said, let's hear it from you guys in the room too. Mason gave his opinion. I've given mine. For the most part, as usual, Mason, I think you and I are pretty much on the same page. The youth, the connection, the recency of being on the football field should all lend itself to be able to make a connection with Jalen and devise a plan to be successful.
At the very bottom line there, and how we trust. At the very outset, as soon as he said, Eagles hired offensive coordinator, I said, okay, good.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
That's good. Sean Mannion, okay, that's cool.
Right. Yeah.
How we trust.
Schools are not going to know who Sean Mannion is, right? Your casual fans just don't know who he is. The rest of us, we know who he is because there's been talk about him being an OC before. All right. David Loeb chimes in. We can't do worse than Patullo. That's very fucking true. Keenan Harmon, a Green Bay quarterback coach, came here in 1999 and had a pretty good run. He never called plays until he got here. Can we chill and see what the kid brings? I think that's an excellent point and one that I would hope more people are making. David Loeb backing up what we talked about before. The new OC will call the plays. That's what I read as well.
Hopefully.
You're right, hopefully. Keenan, are we going to get a run game coordinator too? I think
so. On that, there's a report that came out a little bit earlier. One of my coworkers actually brought my attention up to it. Fig Fangio was supposed to be the run game coordinator last year. At some point during that year, they actually relinquished his ownership.
You're talking about Jeff Stoutland.
My bad.
Yeah, and I don't understand what the hell happened there. I think it was just the Nick and Patullo thing. Something wasn't jiving.
Yeah.
I would like to see Stoutland go back into that role.
Yeah.
But apparently Stoutland is happy with the offensive line. So, like, as long as we don't lose Stout, I'm all right with it. The offensive line didn't look great last year, but that had a lot to do with scheme. You know what I mean? If you're not designing good plays, nobody's going to look good. So I'm not bashing Stout for that. And then Russ at the bottom here. You know who is elite? Shane Falco and John Mixon, Lance Harper, and Steamin' Willie Beeman.
Shane Falco.
I love it. But look, overall, it's a fresh face. It's a fresh mind. It's someone from outside of Nick's coaching tree, which is a good thing. Brian Johnson was under Nick the year before. He gets promoted. Kevin Patullo had been under Nick the entire time he'd been in Philadelphia. He gets promoted. Neither of those situations worked. So once again, we go outside the organization and get a young, fresh face in there. We all know how this league works. Everyone's looking for the next Sean McVay, right? Ever since McVay really sent that whole youth coaching movement into hyperdrive, everyone's been looking for that next Sean McVay. That's what you're trying to find. McVay, LaFleur, Shanahan to a little bit lesser extent, but that's what everyone's looking for. So I have no trouble with this at all. I don't. Would I have preferred Mike McDaniel? Yeah, let's be fucking honest here. Absolutely. The only problem with McDaniel is I think he would come in, do a great job. Our offense would look really good. Our offense would look really good, and then he'd be gone in 1 year, which puts us right back in this spot next year, and who the hell knows who's available at that point. I think there's a chance that Mania might be around for more than one season, almost regardless of success.
I think Jalen would like that.
This is 11 straight years now. 11 when you go back to his freshman year in college.
Yeah, if we had gone ahead with Mike McDaniel, I would have been a little bit worried because he would have folded like a cheap suit at the first kind of push of Philadelphia.
He's not meant for Philly. He's not tough enough for Philadelphia. We all know it. But like I said, my taking that out of it, it's the creativity in the run game is what I was after, which is I think still needs to be the bread and butter of this offense. I want to limit Jalen Hurts' pass attempts to 25 a game. I do not want him going over that. I want to run the ball 35 to 40 times a game. I want 7 to 10 of those runs to be designed rushing attempts for Jalen Hurts. I'm not trying to take the ball out of Jalen's hands, I'm trying to use his versatility more. That's what I would be after. Like we saw with Kellen Moore, like we saw with Shane Steichen. When we've been most successful, it's not Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 35 to 40 times a game. It's just not. And it's okay. We don't have to have a fit over it. We don't have to act like Jalen's some stunted idiot playing quarterback, okay? That's not what's going on here. Golly, man. Every time I say that, so you don't think Jalen can throw. No, I do. I just want him to be effective the way he is designed to be effective.
Listen. Jalen Hurts, he's no Brett Favre, but there's also no need for him to be, okay? Does he have the best arm? No. Does he have the legs of Michael Vick? No.
He's a power runner.
Does he have a stronger arm than Peyton Manning? Yeah. I think just about anybody has a stronger arm than Peyton Manning. I've ever seen him throw. It looks painful how he throws. Not to mention like Phillip Rivers. My gosh. I was out with lunch with my dad today, and we're talking about like comeback player of the year. I was like, I think Phillip Rivers should get comeback player of the year. All for the sole fact that he gets a cold call from his house in Arkansas. Shane Steichen goes, "Hey Phillip, do you think you can?" And then Phil just cuts him off, says yes.
Yes.
This guy, he comes off of his couch from Arkansas, goes to play in Indianapolis. He loses all of his games, I think. Doesn't really matter because he gets 5 more. He gets his young family 5 more years of insurance, and then dips, and dips. I'm like, that guy.
And then what happens? What happens at the end of the year? He gets interviewed by the Bills for their head coaching position.
Yeah, because he's Phillip Rivers.
What the hell was that?
Generational
I couldn't believe what I was. Like, are they seriously interviewing Phillip Rivers? He just stepped off the field. He's got 97 kids. How the hell is that going to work?
No, Philip Rivers is a legend. What a pull, dude. He was looking at he wanted to get the first ship out of Arkansas. I think he was driving himself crazy. I think he was getting pretty close. I think he was running out of time for his Hall of Fame kind of marker was kind of ticking up a little bit. And so Shane was like, "Hey, do you think you could?" He goes, "Yes." And he buys 5 more years of the insurance. He gets to lace him up one more time. Then he's done again. It's like,
And
wow,
then he's
all
done.
right, cool.
I commend him for stepping on the field.
Oh, he's 44.
You know,
Yeah.
at his age, in the shape he was in, or lack thereof, to begin. I mean, I guess round is a shape, but man, yeah, he didn't look.
Just
good.
ask Big Ben.
What do we got over here? Mike McDaniel ain't built for the city. Yeah, I don't think anybody would argue that, Russ.
No.
He's not. David Conant in the room. Y'all see the basketball player that wants to go back to college ball after playing 10 games in the NBA? I have not seen that.
I have not seen that. That's very funny.
Look that one up. Keenan, Jalen's biggest drawback is his ability to find the open receivers. Fix that and we're good.
Ain't that a bitch?
I think it's his inability to read tight windows. And a lot of that happens over the middle of the field, which is why he gets bashed for not seeing the middle of the field. I'm guilty of bashing him for it, but it's true. Unless it's a kind of 5-yard kind of sit-down route with a zone defense behind him where the guy's just clearly open. When you get those crossing routes over the middle, Jalen does struggle there. It's a thing. It just is. Now, what you have to do, like we've talked about, RPOs, motion in your offense, misdirection, all of these things that open up bigger holes so that he's got a bigger window to throw the ball into, a la San Francisco's kind of West Coast-ish offense.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's not an incredibly accurate quarterback with a big arm either. But that offensive design creates massive windows for him to toss the ball into. And, he's got good skill set guys out there that can grab it. So do we.
I think saying that he has trouble issues finding the open receiver, I think the sentiment is correct. I would word it a little bit differently. I think Jalen has a hard time following complex reading structures. I don't think that he's a guy who goes 1, 2, 3, 4 very, very well. So I think
it's got a 1, 2, 3.
Like
back there, I don't know, man.
Like Baker, Baker really succeeded when Freddie Kitchens took over after Hugh Jackson was fired. They went from like a whole field system to a one side, you go one bang bang, and then he had the best year of his career. I think Jalen is kind of like that. So you just keep things simple. You don't try and reinvent the wheel. Like we said before, bring your RPOs back. Don't make Jalen have to win the rep. Make the defense lose the rep.
Exactly.
We have the guys to do it. So I think we have a star-studded roster, and I feel like we feel this obligation to be like, wow, we have a really elite roster. We need to have this elite offensive philosophy. It's like, no, bro. No. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Do the RPOs. Don't have to make your guys be right. Just force their defense to be wrong, and we'll be golden.
That's it. That is 100% it. Make the defense trip all over itself, right? You don't have to be incredibly complex. You just have to do things to tip the defense and force it's like chess. You want to force the defense into the areas that you want them in so that your quarterback has a clear path to where you want the ball.
Make them be wrong. Don't try to be right.
Make them guess wrong. Keep them on their heels guessing. It sounds so simple, but here we are sitting here bitching about it. All right, so we're an hour in here. Got to start winding it down here. I'm going to give a little tease for next week.
That flew by.
It always does. Give a little tease for next week. I don't know if anybody else read this, but the NFL has informed clubs today it is projecting a 2026 salary cap in the range of $301.2 million to $305.7 million per club. That would represent another significant jump from this year's $279.2 million cap and nearly $100 million more than the $208.2 million cap in 2022. So your homework, folks, is to figure out what that means for the Birds. I can tell you right now that increased cap, AJ Brown, sir, you are on the clock. When you meet with our new offensive coordinator and with Howie and with whoever else wants to be part of that meeting, you better straighten up and fly right if you want to continue to be part of this team. Or post June 1st, you can almost guarantee you're fucking out of here. That's trading him post June 1st gives you even more cap room on top of an increased cap, which would afford us the ability to go and try to get a replacement for you at a cheaper rate. I don't look at now. The other thing I would tell you is hopefully one of the first things on their fucking agenda is to figure out who the hell's going to play tight end on this team next year. Because right now, I don't think we have a tight end signed to the roster. Granson, Grant, and Goddard are all unrestricted free agents. That's not
good. So when it comes to the salary cap, much of the increase is just the continuation of the Ponzi scheme that is the modern NFL salary cap system. So essentially, all smart teams have their futures leveraged a couple years into advance, and so you see all these guys get these huge, massive contracts, and on paper, it's like, how the hell do they pay these guys? It's all future. Okay, listen, if the salary cap was frozen for even 1 year, half the league would go bankrupt, okay?
Bankrupt.
All of these teams are relying on the salary cap to continuing to be expanded and build upon it. Dude, if you look at Howie Roseman, the only reason why you can restructure Lane Johnson and all these guys as much as he does is because he's kicking the can down the road. And as long as that salary cap just keeps on increasing, he'll never, because this is something I was so scared of years ago. I was like, dude, he's restructuring. It's all going to come, it's all going to catch up eventually. And we're going to be so fucked. It's like, no, actually, because he knows he can keep kicking that can down the road and the salary cap just eat it all up.
Yeah, it's twofold. So one is, yes, he's relying on the cap increasing. Here's the end of last year or the year before where they said if the cap froze, Howie would have the team bankrupt by 2029. It'd be completely underwater. But the cap is going to continue to increase because the NFL shits its own money out, right? We know that. The other reason why the Eagles are allowed to get away with a lot of this is because you have an owner that's willing to pump a bunch of cash into signing bonuses and whatnot. So it knocks down what you've got to pay on a year-over-year basis, which affects your cap, when he will go and just pony up out of escrow or wherever he's getting his fucking money from. I don't know, Colombian drug lords or whatever. and he's paying out bonus. He's paying it in signing bonuses. So that also allows you a ton of flexibility. This is where – and look, most teams in the NFL could do the same thing. They just don't, right? I'm never going to hear from an NFL owner that wants to cry poverty like these jerk-offs here in Cincinnati. Well, we can't afford to do all these things. I don't want to hear it. You're part of a revenue-sharing league that is worth, I don't know, $170 billion in itself. An NFL owner, I don't ever want to hear that you can't pay for something. And so you get the Bengals here. And then when they do spend, they spend stupid. So you've got 44% of your salary cap as of last year tied up in Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. What does that mean? You have no fucking money to have any depth anywhere. It's always the problem here in Cincy. They're poorly run. And you've heard me bitch about bad ownership across the league. Miami's the same way. Cleveland, the Jets, the Titans, the Panthers. Who else? Arthur Blank in Atlanta. The Davis out in Vegas. There's just a slew of them that are just shit owners, dude. They just think that they know they dabble too much into it, or they're just fucking cheap and they don't want to pay. And the cap is just going to keep increasing, and it's just going to piss off more and more of your fan base. Is what's going to happen as your Philadelphia Eagles, as your your Rams, your teams that are a little bit smarter about cap and cap structure and how we can get away with manipulating things to keep our core together and keep that window open for as long as possible. the more and more of these teams that are capable of doing that continue to do so, the more and more separation you're going to see between them and the shit ownership of your Woody Johnsons and Mike Browns and people like that.
Yeah.
That's a big increase, though. And I'm good with it. So that's your homework, folks. Figure out where the birds are going to go, because now that we've got our offensive coordinator, there's really no excuse. Once this Super Bowl is over, it's time. It's Howie's season really needs to start ramping up. We got the draft in just a couple of months. You're less than 3 months from the NFL draft right now. You are a month away from the combine. So it's time. It's time, right? Time to start looking at where the birds might go with the draft pick. Do they trade down if there's not somebody of value there? I always say go in the trenches or best player available at a position of need. Or if it's not there, fucking trade down. Don't reach in the first round. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, completely ditto there. Everything, once the Super Bowl kind of comes and goes, it's going to be free agency. Then it's going to be the combine. Then before you know it, it's going to be the draft. And then even then, before you know it, it's going to be training camp again.
Yeah, and it'll be right back.
It's going to be a little bit of a football withdrawal after the draft. But a lot of things once the Super Bowl passes, things are going to happen really, really fast.
And while there will be some football withdrawal, we have a very big offseason coming up. There's a lot of tough decisions to make. A.J. Brown is obviously one of them. What's going to happen with him? I would prefer that A.J. just kind of get in line and not be a dickhead. We'll see. A skill set like his, a talent like his, very, very difficult to replace. But ultimately, if he's going to continue to be a whiny bitch and then drop passes in crucial moments on top of that, can't have that on my roster. He's got to go. Nope. The tight end room has to get figured out. Reed Blankenship, Nakobe Dean, Jalen Phillips. These guys are all free agents, okay? Big time. Tough decisions coming this offseason. Expanded salary cap helps. Doesn't solve all the problems, though, because you likely have to give Jalen Carter his extension this offseason. Unless you just want to give him the fifth year option first. And going into next year, you're going to have to save money if you want to retain Coop, because you don't have a fifth-year option available on him. He was a second-round pick.
That's right.
And next offseason is when you have to make these decisions on Quinion and Cooper. So hopefully the cap keeps fucking going up. All right, Mason, final thoughts, let's get the hell out of here.
Final thoughts. Bill Belichick should have been in the Hall of Fame. The fact that he's not is a detriment to the Hall of Fame's institution, and I'm severely disappointed in him being snubbed. Nonetheless, Bill Polian, go fuck yourself. Sean Mannion is a great pickup, I think. He's young. He's going to really relate to Jalen. He's a recent player. He just got off the field not too long ago. Hopefully that gives him an edge in terms of play calling, as he is a play calling virgin, and so he's going to have to learn it on the job. But you know what?
So broke a cherry.
So did Nick Sirianni. So we're all going to be learning here with him. And what was the last thing we kind of brush up on a little bit there? Oh, the salary cap. Listen, the NFL is a Ponzi scheme. As long as the salary cap keeps going up, everything will be going well. Keep that money printing, we'll be just fine.
Well said. Yeah, I'll echo all of that. I threw a couple little rants tonight. These guys for a while had gotten used to me going on a rant. For a while, once a week, but at least once a month, where I would just lose my shit. And I mean, for like a good 10, 15 minutes, I would just go off on something that would have pissed me off. Thus the unhappy moniker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry, folks, those days are coming again. Baseball season's right around the corner. So, Belichick gets snubbed. I don't agree with it. It feels like a Baseball Writers Association of America type of thing. That's very disappointing, considering the process by which the NFL puts these candidates through just to get to that point. I think it's a shame. The more and more I read about Sean Mannion, the more and more I look at it, the youth, having just stepped off the field, the closer in age to Jalen. I think these are all good things. Yes, I understand he's not called plays before, but like I said before, nobody's called plays before until they do, right? And if it keeps Nick Sirianni away from calling plays, that's already a step in the right direction, if you ask me. So I'm excited for that. Excited to see what kind of offense he'll put together. I'm excited to see how his conversations with these players go, in particular with AJ Brown. And then to the cap, again, guys, difficult decisions. Expanded cap helps. Doesn't solve all the problems, though. There's going to be some heartache this offseason. I can almost guarantee it. All right? There's a reason why we drafted, Jahad Campbell.
Yep.
That very well may have been to not paying Nakobe Dean. And we're going to find out the answers to these things here over the next couple of months, couple of weeks. It's all gonna come flying through. So hang on to your hats, folks. We're in for a wild off season as we try to rebuild our way back to Super Bowl glory. One more time through the room here before we get out.
Cool.
Keenan, when I hit Powerball, I will be my financial advisor. I 100%.
I think it's a very wise decision.
You better make it a big Powerball thing, because I'm sure his retainer is going to be quite a bit. The money is coming from human trafficking. All right. Jesus. Russ, again, beautiful show today, fellas. Kept me inside from going out into the frozen tundra. Appreciate it, my brother. Always appreciate you being here. Nice, Mason. We all feel that. Oh my God, the language. Yeah, it's been a little much. Dev says I never heard NP curse. He drops a few here every week. He's not quite the potty mouth that I am, but he drops a few every week. Russ Taylor, you losing your shit? No, that never happened. Keenan Hartman, final thought. I'm tired of being old and cold. Come on, spring. So one of my problems goes away. Go Birds. You know what else comes with spring, Keenan? Baseball. He hates baseball.
Oh, no.
And wrap it up. David Loeb says, nice show. Folks, thank you very much for being here. We're going to come back at you again next week, and we'll talk Super Bowl. Right now, I think the line was still Seahawks by 4.5.
Yep.
With the over-under at 45.5.
Yep.
If you asked me to make a bet right now, I'd probably lay the points. I feel pretty good about Seattle. Do not like the way that Drake May has played in the postseason. I'm not a big Sam Darnold fan either. I just think overall Seattle's got more talent when you look at the overall team. But we'll get into that again next week and talk all that shit up. And it's going to be time to start talking a little bit of college basketball too as we head through January here, get into February, and the conference play really, really heats up down the stretch as we head towards March. So enjoy your weekend. Try to stay warm. If you're lucky enough to be in an area where it didn't snow or where the snow might melt some, go fuck yourself. because all the rest of us hate you right now. No,
if you live in Florida.
If you live in Florida, kiss my entire white ass.
My snowy white ass.
Yeah, exactly. My freezing cold, snowy white ass. But no, enjoy your week. Enjoy your weekend, folks. Stay warm, stay dry. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. Remember, kids, the judge ain't back until Monday. And as always, folks, Mason, take it on up.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Take care, everybody. Come on, end it. End the stream.